Howdy folks, welcome back to part 23 of our 78 Ford, and I've got our other axle out here, and I'll tell you what, it's a good thing that I did check this rear end, because that axle I pulled out with that bearing on it. Let me show y'all what happened. And this is why some people don't need to be working on trucks, because it's a good thing that I checked this. Okay, so what we got here, we got a Ford 9-inch. This is the axle out of it. I want y'all guys to take a look at this bearing here and tell me what's wrong with it. You hear that? I don't know if y'all can see that, but right up in here, them balls, this thing is actually missing some of the balls out of this bearing. You hear it? And the other thing, why this thing was leaking so bad, that's what's left of the seal. It don't even have one. So what somebody has done is they more or less must have replaced this ring and this bearing at one time and never put a seal on it. Or either the seal, I think the seal has failed. I think this must be the seal that's inside this bearing here. It's done falling out. That's what it is. See, somebody replaced that axle bearing on that side at one time and another, because I noticed the bearing was said made in it was made in USA, but it was the old style, like the old national bearings. And this one, I don't know if this one's original or not, but I don't like that. And that's why it's going to get changed. Now make sure when you get your part for the A20 bearing for this, make sure that it comes with this race. Because I had to look in that box there, and it had this in here, but it didn't have a race. So I had to drive all the way back to O'Reilly's for this race, because the box didn't have this race in it. And when you pull it up on PTA20, that's capital PT dash capital A20 at O'Reilly's, it pulls this picture up and it has this bearing, because what it is, it's a one-piece style. This is a new style. It's got the bearing, and then it has the seal, because this is the new design seal. It's supposed to be better from what I heard. And then it has this ring, or some people call it a retainer. But make sure this comes with this. Somebody had actually bought that box, and they took the ring out of it, and it was gone. Or either when it was shipped, this ring was not in here, and you got to have that. Because if you notice the way this is pressed on, so you got the bearing that's pressed on, you have to press this on first, and then you got to press your ring on second behind it. Mine didn't have that, and I tried to tell the parts guy up there that it has to have this race, but it got lucky and ended up working out. And you know, he was nice enough, he pulled another box off the shelf and he swapped me out, so it had it. So make sure that when you buy this style, the A20, it's 14 bucks at O'Reilly's. Make sure it comes with this ring and this piece, and make sure the seal's on it, because the second box he pulled, it had the ring and it had the bearing, but it was missing the seal. So I don't know what's going on up there, but now we got it right. So you got to have that. And the bad part is, anytime you replace these seals on these, the seal is located right up in here. And it's no way just to pull your axle out like a traditional rear end and just replace the seal without doing the bearings. You have to pull this bearing off first, then you pull this one off, and then you can pull your seal off, and then you pull your flange off. Because that seal was right here. Now this is the newer style. And I can't figure out if this is, I think somebody's been in this rear end, because it's supposed to be a race in here. And see how it doesn't have a race? Somebody's removed it. So I don't know if somebody just replaced this retainer and this bearing at one time and didn't, and must have got the cheaper style, because I don't like this style because the seal, you know, fell right off of it. You can see it spinning. I don't think it ruined the axle or anything. I hope not. But I don't think it did. I mean, you can tell where it was leaking so bad. It's covered in gear oil. So I'm hoping I'm going to pull the center out of this thing here too shortly and check its rear end and make sure everything looks good in it. I hope everything's good, because I really don't want to have to spend even more money. But the way this works is once you press this on this axle, this outer piece presses up in here. This one's already got the race removed because it has this style, the one-piece design. The way this works is you want to check and make sure that it goes up in here. And as you can see, it fits right up in here. So that'll be good. And when you put your axle on, you'll actually, all this will be pressed on. And you'll have to get it to where it'll actually fit a little bit. It all presses all the way up in there. So that'll be good. I wish it was like that style where you just press the bearing in and then slide your axle in, but it's not, unfortunately. So we got to get all this off, get this off, get this off, and we can get this off and clean it up. And our teeth look good, so I don't think it hurt the rear end any. Their teeth look good on it. Yeah, our teeth look pretty good on it. All the way around. So I'm pretty sure it's probably okay. I think the gear oil did run out. But I'm going to clean all this up here and get this fixed. And no, it's not missing this piece. It's there. I just moved it for a second. I put the wheel cylinder back on just temporarily so the brake fluid wouldn't leak out. I'm going to replace all these lines anyway, but I don't want to run my master cylinder dry, so to keep it from running out. This is just a prime example here. You know, it's good. You need to check stuff like this, because if I would have run this thing down the road, that would have not been good. I already knew the seal was bad anyway. This was the side that actually was giving issues where it was leaking so bad. The other side actually wasn't leaking really bad. It was seeping a little, but it wasn't like really bad. And, you know, I'm the type of person, I'm going to do it right. We're going to do that side and this side. And then we're going to pull our center out, check it, make sure there's no metal or nothing in there. And as long as all that looks good, we'll seal that back up, and then we'll put our axles back in. But this is just a little update video here. And these axles ain't hard to remove. They're easy to get out. You just got to make sure that it's a little bit harder with this newer bearing, because once you press it on the axle, you got to, when you put your axles, install it all back in, that'll actually press in, so you might have to just tap it in kind of easy. But we'll make a video on that too. But I just went ahead and I pulled the backing plate off and everything, because it makes it a lot easier. And when I was showing y'all about the backing plates, the other one I had to weld up and then ground down, then weld it up again, then grind it down, then in between I would sit the shoes on it to make sure they're flat. That's this one. This one's pretty good. Now this one I haven't done yet, but you can see, I mean, it's got a big groove right there. It's got one there, got one there. I mean, it's just all over them. That one's not as bad. That one's not too bad. But they're pretty well grooved. This one's the worst. And I'm going to degrease this real good, clean it up like I did this one. And then I'm going to go around and weld all these pads up all the way around and grind them back down smooth. And it's perfectly fine doing that, because these backing plates are not cheap. I mean, they are not cheap at all. But that's what I'm gonna have to do. We'll have to weld all that up. I mean, you can tell that seal was not even there. I mean, this thing was leaking so bad. I mean, it's just covered. But we're going to clean all that up. We're going to clean all that mess up. Now, I already got this axle. This is the other axle off the truck. And see, I already went ahead and got the bearing and the retainer already pressed off. You pretty much got to destroy them to get them off. You just got to be really careful and not mess the surface up on the axle. So I was really careful about that. And that bearing, when you pressing it on, it seats up against this little flange here. See, it's a little high here where my finger is, and then down here it's a little shorter. So it presses up right against that. That's how you know if it's pressed on enough or not. That's the way that works. So this one's ready to clean up. I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and it's ready to install the new bearing, the new seal, and the new bearing, and get it all back together. That one's pretty good for this side. Now I had to go back and I'm going to have to rent a slide hammer, because this side has the race on it still. So I had to get this race out of here. That's not really a big deal. We'll get a slide hammer and pull it out. But other than that, we'll get all that apart. We'll clean everything up real good, and hopefully once we pull our center out, I'm going to get the dry shaft out and get our center out. It's like 10 bolts. And we'll get that off, and then I'm going to check it real good, make sure the ring and pinion ain't got no slop, and make sure our teeth look good. They're not chipped or broken or nothing like that. Ain't nothing obvious. And then we'll get it all back together. And I'm hoping everything's good on it, because I really don't want to have to go and get another ring and pinion and go through all the trouble of setting all that up, because that's a lot of money. I mean, a ring and pinion set is, you talking money then. And then you gotta really make sure that it's set up right, because if you go down the road, it'll hum, and then it'll basically destroy the teeth and everything else. You gotta make sure you got the right preload, and it's just so much stuff you gotta go through. But I'm hoping everything looks good so I can clean it up and paint this rear end up real good. And also, the teeth look good. I'm going to let it go for now. Later on down the road, I mean, I do want to rebuild this rear end. I do want to pull the center out and, go to 373 or 411 gear, something like that. But right now, this is kind of on a budget. I just want to get this thing fixed so that we don't have no leaks no more, and so I can get a sticker for it, because I got to get this truck going, because I need to have a second vehicle, because it makes it so hard just having one vehicle. That's why I want to get this one going. That way I got a backup vehicle, and I won't have to constantly be putting miles and wear and tear on just one. I'll have another one. That's where we're at right now. And the nice thing about it is, if you ever had to pull these axles out, these newer bearings are actually nicer, because the seal is not it's like this design here, but it's actually a little nicer, because if you ever got to pull your axles out, you don't risk tearing your seal up as bad. The older style, you kind of pull it out and you risk tearing it up more. I'm going to clean all this up, get it all degreased, make sure there's no metal or nothing in it, and get her center out, and that's where it'll be. Hopefully I'll get it back together, and then I can finally go and get my wheel cylinders and bleed the brakes on it. Because the whole thing, what started all this is my original plan was I was just going to replace the seals on the axles and do the wheel cylinders and just clean it up and just let it go so I can, you know, have brakes on it. But if you look back in the other video, it's kind of a domino effect. You know, you can't just replace that seal there. You got to take your retainer off, then your bearing, and the seal. It just makes it rough. But this one actually needed a bearing though. And as you can see, it's pretty bad. So that's junk. Anybody out there want to buy a bearing? It's good. Oh yeah, that's what it is. See, this side has a seal too. This side's got that's got a seal, and this side's got a seal, and I can actually push that thing in. This has got the ball bearings in it. This has got the newer style, like the needle bearing style. A lot nicer, but a little bit hard to pull out. Oh well. You can just see too, the drum is just covered. I mean, everything is just covered in gear oil. And that's how bad it was leaking. I just hope it didn't mess the rear end up. And they're actually worn funny. They got a groove in them if you really see it. There you go. Now you can really see the grooves in it. So that's not good. They're junk. The drums are junk as well. I mean, I can actually feel the grooves in that drum. So all that's going to get replaced. We're going to get new shoes. We're going to get new drums. We'll get all new hardware, all the springs and adjusters and all that good stuff. So pretty much everything's going to be new, except for like the axles and the backing plates. Because I want to do it right. We're going to replace this brake line too. Go through that. Because the other side, this side came off easy because the fitting came off pretty good, but on the other side